Trakošćan is situated in the municipality of Bednja, which is surrounded with the mountains Macelj to the north, Ravna Gora to the east, Ivanščica to the southeast, and Strahinčica to the west. Lots of architectural phases preceded the appearance of Trakošćan castle as it is today. The need to build the first fort at the end of the 13th century was conditioned by fortification needs as well as the need to control the border and main roads of the area. The core of the object is a Romanesque fortress, which consisted of a residential area, little fortified courtyard, and a tall observation post. Conveniently positioned, the object was secure and well defended. Rapid development of firearms during the 16th century and ever more frequent Turkish attacks made additional construction and further fortifying necessary. In 1592, Ivan and Petar Drašković added a new annex to the object, the West Tower, which still holds their coat of arms and the inscription above the entrance. In the 18th century, the fortress was further expanded by a number of defense objects, as well as farm buildings at the foot of the castle, and also with the stone bridge across the river Bednja. Architectural restoration and equipping of Trakošćan castle were made several times in the course of the 19th century. They changed both the appearance of the castle and its function. The first phase of the restoration took place in the mid-19th century, but was preceded by some minor works in the 1840s. The restoration was initiated and financed by Juraj Drašković and his wife Sofia née Bejela Tur. It was made in the then fashionable style of Gothic revival, very likely modeled upon the Luxembourg Castle in the vicinity of Vienna, with an aim to make the castle a comfortable place to live. The main intervention in the second phase of the restoration, which happened between 1862 and 1869, was the construction of the terrace on the raised ground floor, and it served as a connection between South and West Tower. The third phase of the restoration took place after the year 1875, at the time of Ivan IX Drašković, his wife Julijana Erdödy, and his nephew Juraj VI, and was mainly about interior decoration. Ivan IX and his wife chose Trakošćan as their permanent residence. They adjusted to the new economic and social circumstances accordingly, and dedicated themselves to making the Trakošćan property a forest agricultural farm. At that time, the north entrance tower was built, a large shingle cap added to the top of the tower, but removed in 1961, and the southwest terrace was vaulted. The last owner, Ivan X Drašković, left Trakošćan with his family in 1944. Trakošćan saw the end of Second World War as a neglected and damaged place, and soon after the castle was nationalized. In 1953, Trakošćan Castle with its gardens, lake and wood park was declared a cultural heritage. Wood Park Trakošćan is a preserved area measuring 450 acres. 3 protected units can be singled out: castle, gardens, and wood park. Wood Park is one of the most beautifully shaped parks of lush vegetation, interesting vistas, panoramic views, and offers unique experience of intact nature. The surroundings of the castle were restored in the Romanticist spirit in the middle of the 19th century and made into a park where the lake, meadows, groups of trees and bushes make a harmonious horticultural unity. The gardens were partly derived from indigenous wood, of which separate specimen of old oaks survived to this day. Different exotic species of trees were planted which give the surroundings, especially in the autumn, colorful and dynamic appearance. Due to specific climate characteristic, a vegetation twist is present. At the altitude of 250 meters, coniferous species appear, typical for higher altitudes, and vice versa. On higher slopes, deciduous trees appear, typical for lower altitudes. The lake is a characteristic feature of Trakoscan. It has a surface of 17 acres. It is approximately 2.5 meters deep. It is a reservoir lake created in the middle of the 19th century when a dam was built across the river Bednja. In the winter, the surface freezes and the lake is iced for about 3 months. It abounds with fishes such as carp, white amur, pike, catfish, bass, and other. Trakoscan Lake is an exclusive fishing lake. Fishing in an ambience like this is a true satisfaction and enjoyment for any fisherman. Since its creation, the lake has had a double function, economic as a fish pond and aesthetic as a decorative element common in Romanticist landscape architecture. Footpaths surround the lake, making it a unique promenade. Hunter's Hall is situated in the eastern tower of the castle. Its separation enabled men returning from hunt to enjoy eating and drinking undisturbed. The room also had a separate passage in the wall to the right of the fireplace, which led both to the first floor and the terrace positioned directly above this room. Architecturally, it is executed as a knight's hall. It represents a hunting tradition of the Drašković family and used to house a big dining room. The interior is adorned with hunting trophies from the turn of the 20th century. The trophies are mostly of big game, which was the most interesting to hunt. Also exhibited is one griffin, which is today under protection and illegal to hunt, and some grouse. Above the entrance door there is a horn and a shotgun. The 1870s oak furniture suits well into interior, with its green upholstery evocative of the hunting. The decoration on the painted walls creates the illusion of paneling. The big white fireplace must be mentioned, decorated with animal heads and hunting equipment in high relief. Library. The castle owner's study is completely furnished in neo-Renaissance style, modeled upon the Renaissance palaces where the owner had his study, studiola. Desk, armchairs and bookshelves. The total of the castle library numbers around 1,500 books from the legacy of the Drašković family of Trakoscan. Half of the books are placed as they were in times of their use. Most of the books are in German and French. It is obvious that these languages represented a European bond to the family and were an indicator of their education and culture. Fewer books are printed in other languages. The books date mostly from the 19th century, only some from the 18th or the beginning of the 20th century. Together with fiction, encyclopedias and periodicals, the holdings contain reference books on hunting, cookery, sports, etc. The library points to the rich history and culture of the family, as well as the overall cultural level of society and the state of spiritual and material climate in everyday life of a certain class. In addition to books, there is a decorative painting, the 18th century tempera on canvas depicting hunting going. Green fireplace is adorned with Latour and Drašković family coats of arms. The little showcase houses the archaeological collection of Neolithic polished axes and clay pottery from the Bronze Age. Knight's Hall is the most representative room in the Trakoscan castle. That stateroom, restored in the second part of the 19th century, takes us back into the time of romantic Middle Ages and evokes virtues of chivalry. Today, it is a symbol of military past of both the castle and its family. It is furnished in neo-Renaissance style, and the fireplace, with its rich decor made of wood, contributed more to the atmosphere than to heating. Drašković and Latour family coats of arms are situated on the paneling. In the center of the room there are two replicas of the 19th century suits of armor, and the walls are decorated with late 16th and 17th century arms on poles. Other than suits of armor, arms and furniture, there are also family portraits in original oval wooden frames embellished with gilded acanthus leaves. They were commissioned by Ivan V Drašković in the first half of the 18th century and represent members of the imperial and royal house of Habsburg. From left to right, they are Joseph I and his wife Wilhelmina Amalie, and Charles III. Also portrayed are the imperial generals, Eugene of Savoy, Guidobald Starnberg, and Virich Philip Lorenz Daun. The complete suits of armor, anatomically shaped, became fashionable in the 15th century for war purposes but also for tournaments. The armors were top-quality artifacts made by skilled craftsmen who adjusted to fashion of certain period and place, similar to today's big designer names. The complete suit of armor consists of a helmet with a visor, a pauldron, vambrace, greave and cuirass, a breastplate, as well as gauntlets, sabatons and a tasset. Despite their appearance, which suggests great weight and inability to move, historical sources tell us of knights' great competence to run, jump and climb horses. The average weight of a chainmail was about 13 kilos, and the weight of Italian whole-body armor from the mid-15th century was from 26 to 32 kilos. The heaviest were the armors worn for tournaments, which weighed over 40 kilos. This may seem a lot, but it was less than the average weight carried by every soldier in the First World War, which amounted to 50 kilos. Suits of armor were very expensive, so fitting material resources were needed. It is known for a fact that the price for a Milan-style suit of armor made for Ferdinand I in 1559 was 2,400 Italian crown, what, at that time, was an equivalent to 59 years' worth a master stonemason's salary. Whole-body armors came out of use at the end of the 16th and in the 17th century, but are found throughout the 18th century as accessory to noblemen and people of commanding position. It is a wish for preservation of privileges, differences and dignity that people of high rank started to lose due to the rise of richer, more numerous, aggressive and ever more capable bourgeoisie. In the period of historicism, an air of reminiscence about the past and the waking of old memories of chivalrous times prevailed, of times of lords and their domination. The rich started making collections of old arms, guns,